No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do, quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it. You make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
Hey gardeners, hope you're all having a great week out in your gardens. I'm out here in our alleyway garden space just checking out our tomatoes, and we've got some peppers here as well too that are still producing like crazy. Got a ton of these sun golds that we've got to harvest up here as well too. Really delicious cherries. We've got these here as well that are just, look at all these tomatoes this plant has been putting off over the last couple of weeks. And as I've said, our weather has just been something else. It doesn't seem to be cooling down, or at least to a frost yet. So we're still got plenty of time here to let some of these tomatoes still mature. We've got lots of great, nice big ones right here on this plant, which is a pineapple. There's a nice ripe one right there as well. But yeah, we're still getting lots and lots growing on our plants here. Lots and lots were taken off. Again, like I said, some more peppers and everything. But yeah, we'll have to see when this weather starts to turn. All right, everybody, let's get growing. All right, everybody. Welcome, all of my passionate plant people and garden enthusiasts. It's Saturday, and it's time for the Let's Get Growing show here on the Urban Gardener channel. I'm Enoch. I'm your host today, and we've got a really, really great show for you. You're going to want to stick around for our really great guests that we have joining with us today on the show. A little bit later in the show, we're featuring today our good friend Mike Van Duzee from Keep On Growin Home and Garden. And here also just in a few minutes as well too for our Are You Following Me segment, we've got Mariana Lira joining us from Mary's Garden and Kitchen. We're really looking forward to talking with our guest today. So again, you'll want to stick around, and you'll want to get into our chat and join with everybody as well too. And if you are here joining with us right at the top of the show, definitely click that like button. Hit the thumbs up there. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the bell notification so you can be notified of all of our upcoming videos and live streams. And be sure to share with all of your friends. And also here at the top of the show too, we love to give a big, huge shout out to all of you who are watching our replay. It's great to have all of you joining with us when you can. And definitely get down into the comment section and let me know you are here. Let me know what you've got growing on. If you got any suggestions or questions or anything like that, put those there as well. Or if you want, just come by and say hi. I'd love to hear from all of you as well too. And if you are here joining with us on the show right now, definitely, if you have any questions or comments, like I said, get into the chat section right there and put in any of those questions, especially for our guests while we have them on here in just a little bit as well too. And definitely, if you have any questions, put them in nice big bold capital letters. That way I can tell your questions from all of the different comments and everything, and we might just feature it on the show. We also have all of our links down below to all of our guests. We would love it if you go and check out their channels and their different things that they've got growing on. Maybe find one of their most recent videos or something and go and let them know that you saw them here on the Let's Get Growing show. Really love to show support to everybody who spends their time with us here on the weekend, and it'd be really great if you could do that as well too. Right on. Also, one of the things I'm going to let you know too, right here at the top of the show, for everybody who's joining with the show, our guest Mike later on is going to do some giveaways. We're going to give away a few things that he has to give away to everybody. So we will be utilizing, and here because I want to let everybody know who's joining now, and we'll talk about it, and I'll try to mention it throughout the show as well too, that if you put in hashtag KOG for Keep On Growing, hashtag KOG into the chat box there, then we'll have you entered in to win one of those prizes that Mike will be offering here later on in the show. So definitely do that. Put the hashtag KOG, and that way you'll be entered in for that. And then later on in the show too, when we draw our winners, we'll show you an email that you'll be able to email in and collect those prizes and all of that too. So that's gonna be really fun. So I hope everybody sticks around for those giveaways here just a little bit later on the show. And also just to let everybody know too as well, we are here every Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and for our Sunday edition of the show. Tomorrow we are going to be joined by our good friends Kang Star and Christopher Bransdahl. These guys are a couple of my great growing friends. They've been doing live streams with me for many years and all of that. And also tomorrow is my birthday. So I thought, what better way to spend my birthday than hang out with some good old friends on our channel here and have a just fun gardening conversation. So you won't want to miss out on that as well too. So definitely come and join with us tomorrow as well for our Sunday edition of the show. Now, also too, check out last week's Sunday edition of the show where we did it was the third Sunday of the month, and we did our monthly gardening book club. And our monthly gardening book club last month was featuring Ashley Thomas, the Mocha Gardener, and her book, How to Become a Gardener. I mean, this book is just really awesome. We really enjoyed having Ashley back on the show. She's been on a couple of times with us, and we had just wonderful conversation about gardening and growing and becoming a gardener, whether you're a first-time gardener or a long-time gardener. You'll definitely want to go and check out that conversation. It was really special. It was really great. So definitely go back and check that out. I do want to let everybody know that on our monthly gardening book club, when we get together with our authors, we also announce the next month's book club. And next month for our book club, we are featuring Mitch McCulloch's The Seed Hunter. This I met Mitch down at the National Heirloom Exposition this last month, and really great conversation with him. And his book just came out, just got released. So actually, I'm still waiting for my copy in the mail right now. I should be getting it anytime now. But I encourage all of you as well to go out and find that book. And you don't have to necessarily have the book either, too, to enjoy these conversations. This is just a really kind of fun way for us to just dig a little bit deeper into some of these just really great gardening books that are out there. There's so many of them, so many wonderful authors. And something just a little bit different than your normal book club, when we're all just getting together in our communities and all of that and enjoying different books. We actually get together here and actually talk with all of the authors of these great and wonderful books. So definitely come and join with us each and every third Sunday of the month. And I just want to double check here and make sure we got the date right here for everybody. That should be November 17th. For that conversation with Mitch. So definitely come and join with us there. And if you do get an opportunity, check out his book, The Seed Hunter. Also, last Saturday's show, we had a really awesome conversation with another person that I met down at the National Heirloom Exposition. I saw a talk that he did, and this was Dr. Jeff Pierce. He's a garden and lifestyle medicine. He's a longtime doctor and got into lifestyle medicine several years back. And the discussion he had at the Heirloom Exposition was just so great. I just had to have him back on the show, or have him on the show with us to be able to talk about some of those different subjects involving gardening and lifestyle medicine. So that was really fun. We also got to meet in our Are You Following Me segment, Yasmin El Gabri of MCR Urban Gardener from Manchester, United Kingdom. And she does and got into gardening through doing a community cleanup project in her alleyway there in Manchester. There's a bunch of their neighborhoods are just these really close together buildings with these alleyways, these service alleyways that run through the middle of them, and most of those have all kind of collected garbage and all of that. So they did a cleanup and decided to put in plants in a garden there, and that got her all motivated into gardening. And she's now been gardening for several years because of this project, and now also has her own allotment and all of that sort of stuff. And that's the one thing too that we all know as gardeners. We get started, and next thing you know, we're hooked. So it was really great to have a fun conversation with Yaz there about all of her gardening adventures there in her alleyway gardens in Manchester, United Kingdom. So great conversations there. Again, like I said, you'll want to go back and definitely check out some of those great shows that we've had here in the last week or two. And plus, again, like I was saying, subscribe so you can catch all of these great shows that we've still got coming up here in the coming weeks as well too. I also want to make sure and highlight, we've been talking about this all month, as this is something I've been doing for many years here on the channel, each and every Halloween, which is going to be this Thursday night coming up. It's all the way almost already here. And if you are just kind of hanging out, handing out treats to the local kids and all of that, this is something we do each and every year here on Halloween. Is we have a special Halloween hangout live stream. We hang out and have some discussions, and we also watch the original 1960 classic, The Little Shop of Horrors. The Little Shop of Horrors is one of my favorite shows. It's a little bit different than the one we're all familiar with, the 1980s version of The Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin and all of that as well too. But we will have, like I said, we'll have a discussion before and after, and then if you want to stick around as well too, we will watch a theatrical version of The Little Shop of Horrors as well. This great version that San Jose play company did and put on with just some really great actors, and it's a really great show. So again, we'll kind of hang out, continue to watch even the theatrical version, which is more like the movie version we're all familiar with from the 1980s. But it's a really fun night. It's a really fun way to kind of get together and hang out if we're just hanging out anyways at home. So you'll definitely want to come and check that out. Again, that's going to be this Thursday coming up. We'll start at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then also, too, I want to mention this next week, we've got a really special Sunday edition coming up for one of our Sunday roundtables. We are going to have joining with us back again on the show. We're going to be having Mark Valencia from the channel Self-Sufficient Me, and Nate Murray from Garden Like a Viking joining with us together for our gardening roundtable here this next Sunday. So you will not want to miss any of these shows. Again, like I said, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you just won't miss out on all these great shows and everything. And we're going to have some really fun, great conversations. And let's go ahead and check out and see who we got in the chat with us here real quick. First off, we've definitely got to say hi to our facilitator, Jay Dixon, joining us from Midwestern Ontario, Canada. Thank you so much, Jay, for being with us here today. And also be sure to keep an eye out in our chat there as well, too, during the conversations, as Jay's always dropping in some really great links, other channels, great information that goes along with our conversations and all of that. So keep an eye out for those things in the chat as well. I see joining with us before the show got started there, we had Mill Creek Market, PA. Awesome. And great there again, too. Put in that hashtag KOG. In fact, that's what I got. That's how I got the hashtag, was from Mill Creek. I saw that as I was getting ready to start the show. So I thought that would be a great way for us to do our giveaways today here as well, too. And yeah, great to see you. I see that we've got Mike already in the conversation as well. And also joining us from the future in Australia, we've got Rick joining with us, getting up nice and early to hang out with us here on the Let's Get Growing show. It's great to see you, Rick. Thank you so much for joining with us. It looks like I see Wendy joining with us. Wendy, it's great to see you. I know that you just finished up. Wendy just did her very first live stream over on her channel as well, too. It was so fun to kind of hang out with her before the show as I was getting prepared and getting ready for today's show, and getting to see Wendy do one of her. Wendy's been doing some YouTube for quite a while. She's been around a lot longer than I have, and it was really great to see her finally get out and do some live streaming with all of her all of her viewers and all of that as well too. So if you don't know Wendy Fan, she's been a guest on our show before and all of that. You'll definitely want to go and check out her channel and keep an eye out for some of her future live streams as well too. Let's see, we got Jersey Girl joining with us. Hey, Jersey Girl, great to see you. Thank you for joining with us again. And also we've got our moderator, Adam, who lives just right up the road from me. Great to see you, Adam. And it was great to hang out with you just last week as well, too. We'll have to get together again real soon. Adam brought me a bunch of really great seeds that he got. Had some extra seeds and all of that, too. So now I'm really kind of stocked up for some seeds for this next season. So thanks again, Adam. That was really nice of you to do that for me. Right on, right on. Let's see who else we got here. We got Growin, Alaska joining with us. Awesome. That's great to see you as well, too. Right on, right on. Oh, yep. There we go. Good. Putting that hashtag in there. So everybody who hasn't put the hashtag in as well, hashtag KOG for some giveaways that we're doing here in just a little bit. We got Nana as well, too. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I know a lot of folks are joining from over at the Keep On Growing channel as well, too. So it's great to see you. Oh, Mill Creek's like, happy birthday. Yeah, I know. It's great. A whole nother year has passed by, but it's all right. We're going to have some fun tomorrow and have a great conversation and all of that. Wendy as well, too. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see here, making sure we're getting to say hi, everybody. Yeah, Mike's feed me, Seymour. Yeah, exactly. Right on. Yep, it's going to be a fun hangout. Love hanging out. Love watching these old movies with all of you and as well, too. And oh, yeah. And here's and one more. Actually, let's say hi to Lily real quick. Hi, Lily. It's great to see you here in the live stream with us as well, too. Thanks for joining the show. And Jade also mentioned, too, as well, too, consider a costume for the Halloween show as well, too, because one of the things, and great thing, thank you for reminding me as well, too, what I'm going to do at the beginning of that live stream is I'm going to hand out our live stream link for everybody that's joining with us that night. I'm going to give you the live stream link so that you can come on and maybe for a few minutes or something, maybe show off a costume or just say hi and be a part of the discussion and all of that. So definitely do that. Or definitely here as well, too, is what I should do. And I'll pop this up real quick here. Let me put this up. If you do have any pictures and you don't want to join up or come on live or anything as well, too, if you have any pictures of any costumes, your kids in costumes or anything like that that you want to submit for the show as well, too, you can email those to me at letsgetgrowing@mail.com. And that's at mail.com, not gmail.com, but let's get growing at mail.com. You can send me some of those pictures and all of that, too, and I'll be sure to show those during our live stream discussion as well, too. So definitely do that. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining with us here today. Let's see here. Right on. We're gonna have to get moving. We got a lot to cover there right at the beginning of the show. So we're gonna take our first break here real quick, and we'll be right back with our first guest, Mariana Lira from Mary's Garden and Kitchen. Let's Get Growing is sponsored by IV Organic.
Hi, my name is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with IV Organics, where we grow cool plants and author Saving the World with the Home Garden. IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard has 7 natural oils that protect your plants, not just from the summer heat as well as winter cold, but also protects your plants from damaging insects and rodents. The oils in the product include castor, cinnamon, clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint. These oils are natural insect and rodent repellent oils, which are encapsulated by the base powder, offering your plants months of protection at a time. 1 application per year will suffice for protection against damaging summer sunburn and winter sun scald, but if the target is pests, application as much as 2 to 3 times a year may be necessary.
everyone, this is Sarah from Sarah's Seed Shop, here with another trivia question. On average, when is the earliest first freeze in the U.S.? A. September 1st, B. September 15th, C. October 1st, or D. October 15th? We'll be back with the answer a little later in the show.
All right, all right. You got any guesses on what the answer is to Sarah's trivia question there? Definitely put that into the chat there as well. And what a great question here for this time of year, actually. Right now, as you saw in the very first clip I showed of the alleyway garden there, we're still haven't had any significant frost or freeze here in Southern Oregon. It is a really late summer, fall for us. And so, I mean, again, all of our tomatoes, a lot of the tomatoes for our second crop that we look for in the fall season is getting some extra time on the vines, and there's a ton of tomatoes out there right now that hopefully here, because I'm looking in our forecast as well too, it doesn't look like we're still going to see really any significant frost for the next week or two. So we'll hopefully be able to keep those on the vine for as long as we can, and then we'll be pulling everything here real soon. And boy, I'm going to have a bunch of cleanup to do here. I know this is the time of year for all of us as our summer gardens are winding down. It's time to clean up and get those plants all taken down and get our gardens for us more in the northern areas prepped up for our winter time and all of that as well too. And one of the things that I have to kind of wait for as well too before I pull everything and get all of this soil all bare is for my trees to start dropping all their leaves. That's another thing about it being so warm so late. My trees haven't been dropping leaves yet too, so I need to get those dropping leaves so that I can have all of that great leaf mulch to cover up a lot of my beds and everything too. So I've been waiting for that to happen. So hopefully, well, I mean, it's nice, like I said, to see all of those tomatoes get a little extra bit of time to grow on the vine and everything. But, you know, we do got to start getting everything prepared here real soon. So right on, everybody. Let's get moving on today for our first segment. Are you following me?
Are you following me? Are you following me, dude?
All right. For today's Are You Following Me segment, we are joined by Mariana Lira from Mary's Garden and Kitchen. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining with us today. I've been really looking forward to talking with you here on the show. Thanks again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. I've been I caught your channel probably earlier this year, and I just have really enjoyed. Again, I love small space gardeners. I love people who are gardening in the city and all of that. And I know you've moving and all that. We'll talk about that a little bit here though as well too. But right up front, you've been growing right in New York City. And you had a couple of really great gardening spaces. So I've been really looking forward to talking to you about those today.
Yes, I have been. I was growing in the city for about 4 years in Queens. So I was fortunate to get a little alleyway garden as well. About maybe 4 years ago when I first started. And I also had a backyard that was south facing, which was hard in New York City because we have a lot of problem with shade and shadows because of the tall buildings and everything.
Yeah.
So it was a sunny south facing backyard, and I was able to grow lots of stuff in there, and was also able to document my journey on YouTube, which is great. So it's been, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself there and how how everything led up to you starting a garden there.
Yeah, so actually I'm a trained chef. I'm a professional chef, and I have been working in kitchens for over 10 years. And then right at the pandemic, the restaurant I was working at closed, and I was working in restaurants that did like farm to table, so we worked very close with farmers. And as soon as I had more time in my hands, the first thing I wanted to do was to grow my own vegetables. So I was in the city, so it was a bit challenging, but we were able to find a space that had a little front yard first, and I decided to start with not really a lot of previous experience. But
Mm.
I'm from Brazil, and my grandparents are from both sides are both were farmers. So I
Yeah.
did grow up had a exposure to the gardens and farm, even though they didn't want to teach us. But I grew up in an environment that I maybe have learned by observing because I ended up doing really good the first year and was surprised.
All right.
Um, but I think it's came naturally to me and was very, and I got hooked right away. As soon as I harvested my first things and planted my first herbs, I knew I was gonna be a gardener for the rest of my life. So
It
that's how it
does.
started.
Gardening really
Yeah,
once you and luckily again too, you had some early successes and everything, but gardening really it does once we get started, it just really, we connect with it so easily and then it just becomes something that we have to continue to do. And I'm sure for you, just like most of us, you start with just a little space or a little bit of a garden, and the next thing you know, you're growing and expanding and wanting to grow everything you can get your hands on, right?
exactly. Yes, I started with some herbs from seed first, and I germinated them. Now I have a hard time germinating some herbs from seed, but it was lucky over there. And only with a few pots, and I think that's a great way to start small first. It was great for me also for learning. And then, understanding the first things with gardening, like sun exposure and learning things about what pests come to your space and all that stuff that, you know, you're
Yeah.
kind of naive in the beginning. You think you just wanted to, you're going to put some stuff, some things in the floor and they're all going to grow, but you got to learn about fertilizing, nutrients, and watering. So starting small was great. And then I was fortunate to get a bigger space, about 800 square feet in the city also, and I could do it in things in a bit of a larger scale. It was a bit of a try and error there. The first year was not that great because I was still learning about the soil and everything, but after that, it was definitely a great experience. And I wanted to grow everything, maximize my space as much as I could.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the challenges of these spaces, because for a lot of us who grow urban gardens and in urban spaces and all of that, it can be kind of a challenge. You have to really kind of be, you got to really use your imagination when it comes to being able to utilize spaces that probably most people wouldn't have thought of as a garden.
Yes. Well, the first challenge for us in New York City specifically is sunlight because lots
Mhm.
of there's a lot of the tall buildings and there's a lot of
Yeah,
shade. And even if sometimes you have space, it's just heavily shaded. So I had to kind of first understand what I could grow in the shade and what had a bit more sun, you know. And but I also feel like when you get constricted, you get more creative. The creativity come with us trying to figure out what we can do. And there's problems like pests in the city. Unfortunately, you have like rodents and,
mm,
the trash in the city unfortunately stays in the sidewalk in New York City.
yeah,
And that was a bit of a challenge to me to, know that I couldn't really compost. I mean, I could, but it was challenging. I didn't want to attract anything, and I ended up had a bit of a problem at the end with the rodents, which is very common in the city, unfortunately,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's something you have to deal with. And but there's many classes from the city that also help urban gardeners to mitigate that. And that was the biggest problem for me, that the things that got attracted to the garden, even if you try to keep it a clean space and grow things above the ground, they don't provide great a lot of shelter or
yes,
good environment for them to want to move in. And it's crowded. But it was also great to learn that you can still do it. And then many people do it. That there, once I started gardening in the city and did my YouTube channel too, I have met many other urban gardeners, and
yeah.
so many people want to start green spaces and figure out a way to do it. And we could chat also, exchange experiences and see what worked for one another. And that was extremely helpful to build that community and be able to find to fight the challenges in that way as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so shade, some sort of, the pests that come in, and soil quality. There's a lot of contaminated soil in New York City as well. So I was not very aware of that in the beginning of my experience, of my journey.
Yeah, yeah. So that's something you really got to take care of. One of the things I like again too, and we had a guest on last week who grows out of Manchester, England, and they did a alleyway cleanup in order to start their gardening space there as well too, which is great to do, and getting in there. And again, I'm sure they're dealing with similar types of issues and things that they've got to mitigate. But one of the things I really like about it, and you kind of just briefly mentioned that as well too, is again too, having gardens in urban spaces really helps bring kind of a community together, kind of
Oh,
helps
yeah.
bring people together, and or even people who might not even thought about it too, just who are walking by and checking out what you're doing and find some interest in gardening as well too. So I'm sure you saw a
Yeah.
lot of that as well.
Yeah, my first garden in the front yard, I had a lot of foot traffic, and it was actually very inspiring. Even though I didn't have that was a north-facing garden, I didn't have a lot of sun, but I had there was a lot of kids that would
Oh yeah.
walk by and they would see the tomatoes or the peas. And one time, one of them stopped by and asked if we taste a pea, a snap pea, and the mom was like, "Oh, he never eats vegetables at home." I was like, "Oh, do you mind if I let it, wash it and give it so it can taste?" And a pea picked out of the vine is so sweet and crunchy, and so the little boy he ate it, and he's like, "Oh wow, that's so good!" And the mom like had tears in her eyes, it's like, "Oh my
Right.
gosh, you just made my like." To see the connection of the kids, the
Yeah.
interest that they can get, and that also really touched me and made me want to grow more and show that you can do that too. And the kids were always the ones that looked at for the butterflies and for the bees. They always stop by like, "Mom, look at that flower. There's a bee
Yeah.
in there." And I have to notice that a
Yeah.
lot of the younger kids, they were the ones who really look at the garden and and we could. I don't have kids, but I'm inspired by in the future to see how they're naturally curious and to kind of
Yeah.
foster that connection with nature with them too. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, many people passing by will always comment on the garden and thank me for doing it. Thank you so much. I commute and I walk here every day, and seeing the flowers and the vegetables make me feel better in this great, crazy, busy city. So it was very rewarding to also have that exchange with the community as well.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of how my whole gardening adventure on YouTube and all of this started as well too, because I grow along alleyways. And I
Mhm.
also actually, the one thing that really piqued my neighborhood's interest was I had this flat carport roof, and I would grow up on these earth buckets, all these different peppers. I had a big, huge pepper garden up
Oh,
there,
cool.
and people could
Mhm.
see it from all over the neighborhood. So people would come over here to check it out and check it out all, and get a closer look at it and everything. But that really kind of started my connection with my neighborhood and being able to, kind of encourage others to get into gardening and all of that as well too. So I have people who now walk through my garden as a regular walk. That's the
Mhm.
whether it's their kids or their dogs or all. In fact,
Mhm.
I even have a neighbor who walks his cat through our garden, which is
Oh, how
amazing,
cute.
which is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. But that's really fun. That's really great. And I love what you said though too about kids and gardening as well too. I think that's really important. We talk a lot about gardening education here on the show as well. You know, kids who grow things or see things grown, are more likely, like you said, to try them and to eat them, and to,
Mhm.
you just put something on a kid's plate and they don't know about where it came from or all of that. It can be just very strange. But if
Yeah, and
they
the
see it
kid that
grow,
ate the, oh, sorry. No, I
oh,
was going to say the kid that ate the pea
yeah,
also say, look, there's a little flower in this plant. It's like, well, yes, the pea comes from the flower. So the bee have to go there and pollinate. And the kid was like, whoa, that's so cool. So my vegetable comes from a flower. So like teaching them that way
yeah,
too, instead of just putting in a plate and showing like the whole connection makes it more
yeah.
interesting. And they understand, where the food comes from and they would be willing to try. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like Ron Finley says, kids who grow tomatoes eat tomatoes. So, it's under that same sort of pretense, is that we get them out there, we show them how things are growing. Again, the whole process, like you said, from the bees to the flowers to it, producing this fruit or vegetable. And then again too, it isn't as hard to get them to try those things. I was one of those very picky eaters as a kid,
Hmm.
and I kind of wish that I'd had a garden to learn and understand about a lot of that stuff too. So I'd grown into some of those vegetables a little more earlier in my life. And I think that's something we
Hmm.
can always do for kids, is kind of help them out in understanding that better.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, and especially, when it comes to food and making food, you mentioned too that you're a chef. So,
Mhm.
tell us a little bit more about being a chef. Because again, I've met a few people who started out that way. Either whether they're a chef or someone who's just interested or finds an interest in cooking food and different types of things and like that, they find themselves in the garden, or
Mhm.
creating gardens because of that.
Yeah, so I think being a chef, I always liked cooking. It was natural to me. Everybody told me I should be a
Yeah,
cook or be a chef, but I think the connection to us being professional chef, but I feel my garden is the beginning of the dish. So I like to grow unusual varieties. I don't talk as much on YouTube. It was hard for me to film cooking videos on my old, very tiny New York City apartment. I'm
yeah,
going to try now to do more garden to table with the new place that we have a bit more space and have more space to garden too. But I always kind of thought of like that was the beginning of the ingredient. You're sowing that seed and the
mhm,
flavor of those vegetables are going to end up in your final dish. So when I was in fine dining, I always overcomplicated things. I wanted to do, I mean, I didn't want to do the chef that I was working under,
yeah,
wanted to do all these 15 techniques, whatever things with the dish. And I, as a young cook, wanted to, do it right. And then I try to even complicate even more, let's say, to impress. Now, after I started gardening, I feel like the simpler, the better. Now that I can understand that the flavors can be so good of the vegetables that you were picked, why am I going to try to do a million different things? So I guess it made me a better cook and a better chef.
yeah,
And I am a lot more creative with the garden too. Like I have a lot because of the seasons and because I know what's growing with what, it's much easier for me to come up with dishes. I worked as a private chef in New York City for the last 4 years. After the pandemic, I left the restaurants and I stayed as a private chef. And it was nice to also be able to do my own thing. I
yeah,
could create my own dishes and talk to my clients and doing the things through their taste, but also it was just come that it was easier for me to create things, to come up with things for them because I had the garden and I had the farmers market and they love that too. And if I brought
yeah,
stuff from my garden to them, they were so grateful and they always loved to hear the stories and they wanted to see the
yeah.
pictures and they love the flavor of the food. So
That's
it was
great.
great. I think the connection is, and everybody that gardens, I imagine that if you garden vegetables, you'll end up cooking with it at the end. So it's good to learn some cooking skills and and also honor, right, that food that you're making it, make it
Yeah,
the best that you can make. You don't have to make it overcomplicated, but also like make a really
yeah,
satisfying, enjoying dish, as that
yeah,
using everything, not wasting a lot of stuff, which a lot of us gardeners have that sense already of using the whole,
yeah,
plant
exactly.
if you can. Yeah.
And I'm not I'm literally not the best cook at all, so doing cooking videos probably isn't the best for me, but I
Mhm.
think it's gonna be really great. I hope people go and check out your channel and all of that as well too, as you move into being able to do more of that, because I think maybe the gardening community, especially on YouTube, could use just a little bit more of that, to help inspire others in their gardens already to do things. And I'll bet you that you've come across recipes and different things that you've wanted to try or do that kind of maybe inspired you to grow something different that you haven't grown before, right?
Oh yes, yes, and yeah, they're just like trying to find that delicious squash. I'm going to do
Yeah.
it. Find
Yeah.
these other seed companies that also breed seeds for flavors, which I think is very cool. There's some chefs there that are connected with that, and I try to keep up with that as well. But there are things, and then me being from Brazil, I want to grow some things that I can't really find here also, so I can cook some food that it makes me think of home. Um, a
Yeah.
little hard in there because Brazil is tropical, but I can do a few things, annuals in here at least. But yeah, there's also growing things for taste is something that I really enjoy, and I hope that now that I have more space, I can do more experimenting and be able to grow more heirlooms and things that have maybe lost, but finding these varieties. I just quick story. I just started. I don't know if you have ever grown scarlet runner beans.
Oh yeah.
They are usually grown for as an ornamental to attract hummingbirds,
Yeah.
but they are delicious. I just cooked with them last week, and they have the most like creamy, amazing texture. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to discover these things, like how come I never seen this in the grocery store? Even as a chef, I never heard about this bean. Now I just had this randomly in my garden, and I
Yeah.
found out that's been growing in the US since the 1600s and is really good, so that
Yeah,
kind of ignited my passion again
that's
for
awesome.
trying to find these varieties that are very tasty, and they're heirlooms as well. So,
Yeah, yeah, I've grown some before. In fact, I got a couple of different varieties down at the National Heirloom Exposition a few weeks back that I'm looking forward to growing this next year. So I look forward to seeing maybe some recipes or some things that you come up with those so that I could
yeah,
give them
yes.
a try as well too, instead of just
Mhm.
growing them as ornamentals or you know uh, encouraging pollinators and as well too.
Mhm.
So real quick, before we move on to your next space and
Mhm.
all of that, what in your New York City gardening, what are some of those things that you grew that work really well for you there?
So I think so. The weather actually was kind of mild in New York City. We have the urban island effects in a lot of concrete, so it was very warm. I love
Mm,
growing kale and greens and things that I could overwinter. Tomatoes I always do very well because it's very hot and humid. And I know and it had shade, so one was best of both worlds. Instead of getting super sick, they kept producing,
yeah.
which was good. Um, and I always think flowers for the pollinators are great, even though
Mhm.
they do well too, but it helps whatever else you're growing to do well in the garden. But in New York, I feel like something that like a weather that's hot and humid, things that do well in there would be do well in the city too. And eggplant is great, loves the heat.
Yeah.
Peppers, I love growing peppers. I also did great there. But one of my favorite things to grow is kale. I know it's a little silly, but just like
Yeah.
grows the whole year and through the winter. And I was like, I eat it so
Yeah.
much because it produces so much. But it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
That's great.
And if
Great.
your plant is healthy, you don't have a lot of the cabbage moths. The first couple of years, my soil was not that great, and they decimated my plants. Once I started working on my soil, they got a lot more resilient. And the last couple of years, not the first two ones, I was able to actually keep the plants producing without spraying and doing anything because I garden organically, but have the
Yeah.
leaves through the whole season just for because they're healthy. Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
good. I'm so proud.
Yeah, that really is
So,
a key though, having really
mhm,
great soil to create really healthy plants. And those really healthy plants can be more resilient to things and,
mhm,
kind of grow through a lot of stuff like that as well too. And especially for those of us in the city, or like you're saying, you didn't have very good soil. So once you start paying attention to that, you can start seeing those effects of that sort of thing. What are some
mhm.
of those things that really didn't work out? Things that you wanted to grow, maybe the things that didn't grow so well.
So there was a big grapevine in the little plot that I
Yeah.
gardened, and I really wanted that grapevine to do well, but it
Yeah.
never really did. It got sick, a little bit after mid-season and got attacked by pests. I couldn't figure out how to make it work. There was a
Yeah.
fig tree there too. I think I had a bit of a hard time with the established plants, the trees that were there.
Right.
And what else was I didn't I couldn't really work. Lettuce was a little hard. I could only grow in the spring. I wish I could grow there year round. And
Right.
cucumbers and squash because I had lots of cucumber beetles and the vine borers. Even if I
Yeah.
try to keep my soil healthy, like help with the
Yeah.
kale, but those two I just never really had a lot of success, which was sad because I love eating both of those. But those were definitely challenging because of the pests that were already established in my area.
Yeah, yeah. Those a lot of folks deal with those vine borers and have a hard time. I'm lucky I don't got those that I've got to deal with where
Okay.
I grow, but I still have to deal with those squash bugs, and they are just relentless. They've been giving me so much trouble over the last couple of years, so I've got to really kind of get them figured out and try to bring down their ability to just wreak so much havoc among my squash and all of that. One of the things I
Mhm.
learned though too is that it doesn't even matter if you skip a year of growing too, because that was one of the things I
Mm.
just tried a couple of years. And at least for me, I was like, okay, you want to try to kind of stop their cycle in a sense if you can.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, this year I'm not going to grow any squash in this space or anything like that. But I'm sure again, I'm growing in the city and
Other
there
people are
are
growing
others
around you.
growing them as
Yeah.
well. So I'm sure all I did was skipped a year of having squash instead of trying to actually, deal with them as they're growing. So that's just something I'm gonna have to do a little bit better on this next year because you got to have some good squash growing in your garden.
Oh, I love squash. It was hard for me because I tried. I did the Moscato variety because the vine borers are the biggest challenge, and to say that one's a bit more resilient and tough, but it was still hard. Hopefully, in this new place, I will be able to grow some squash at least for 1 year, for the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
year, before the pests move in. But yeah,
Right
it's
on, right
delicious.
on.
So much everything to eat.
Let's see here. Jay asked this question too, which I think is a good segue for us to talk a little bit about your new space, because next year, what are you planning on growing in this new garden space? I mean, you're not in the city now. You're not confined to just a little bit of space, right? You're going to have plenty of space to grow. So I'm sure all of this gardening experience is going to just, let loose, and you're just probably going to grow
Yeah.
a bunch, right?
Yeah, I do want to control myself a bit because I'm starting from scratch. There's all grass
Mhm.
where I am, and I have to prepare the soil, and I haven't grown anything in here in a very long time. But I do plan to grow the things that I like to eat the most. So I haven't done all my gardening planning. I love doing that in the winter when it's on those sad days that it's cold. I love to go and plan. But
Mhm.
mostly, I want to start with a small vegetable garden first. That's it's mostly things that I have grown in the past and I have enjoyed. So if I'm growing tomatoes, the varieties that I have, liked already. I love the Cherokee Purple. It's my favorite tomato. I tried a bunch of different ones. There's one called Ananas Noir that's delicious also, and a
Yeah.
Black Beauty. So I'll do a few varieties of tomatoes. I'll do some peppers, some squash. I
Yeah.
love to do a three-seater garden, like a corn, squash, and beans, uh, set up somewhere in
Yeah.
the garden as well. And I'm planning to grow lots of flowers actually in the first year because I want to start attracting all of those beneficial insects and pollinators. And that's a way that I can also assess my soil health. I will get a soil test, but I'm still thinking that flowers are a bit easier to grow. They're less maintenance. I don't have to think about irrigation and everything in the first year. But once, start with a lot of, I have the complete different opposite problem I had before. I have a lot of space, like 1.5
Mhm.
acres now. And
Wow.
then it's just like too much. And I was like, I have to start, I have to make sure I have time to take care of the garden. And then I want to make sure I have a good environment to grow. And then year two, hopefully, once I garden for a whole year and I understand what pest comes in here, what are my weather patterns and all of that, then I will go probably do everything that I want to do. But I'm trying to control myself in the first year and do more like a test observation situation.
That's a good idea.
So yeah.
Yeah. Also be thinking about, your perennials that you could get started up if
Mhm.
you've got any food bearing perennials, and trees. Trees are always something you want to think about initially
Yeah.
for a new property, especially you're going to be
Yeah.
owning it. You're going to be there for years. You might as well get them started as early as possible. All those good
Actually, we are
fruiting trees.
renting, so I don't
Oh, you're
know
renting.
if we're gonna
Okay.
be here for a long time. But I love to start some fruit trees in pots because eventually, when we
There you
get our
go.
own place, I want to get some things that I could move with me in 3 to 5 years. But I would love to, if we could plant in here. I have to ask my landlord, but that's something more permanent. But definitely, if we own this place, trees will be the first things that I would like to put in the ground. So, it's always an investment for the future that you have
Yeah.
to start as soon as I can. You can. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Again, yeah, some trees. I grow several different trees. I've got apple tree, peach tree, pears some figs that I all grow in containers for me as well too.
Oh,
So
shoot. Yeah, give me all the
you
tips.
can
I
do
want to know
that.
all the varieties. Yeah.
Yep, yep. You could definitely do that. And again, they're really great.
Mhm.
So yeah, lots of great stuff growing on there. Really, really, look forward to seeing all of these great new content that you have for your channel. I hope everybody else gets down below too as well. Like I said, I got links right down in the description there for your channel for everybody to go check out, and definitely look forward to seeing all of this new stuff you've got growing on. And again, some of those great cooking videos. I mean, that's going to be really great.
Yeah. Do you cook? Do you like to cook with the vegetables that you
I
grow?
I mean, I do, but I
Hmm.
don't think I'm the best cook. I don't, like I said, I'm not,
That's
that's one of
okay.
the
Yeah.
things that keeps me from doing any sort of cooking videos of any sort, because I'm not much of a cook at all myself. But again, that's why I think it's really great that, folks like yourself out there who do have some great knowledge can help contribute to the gardening community on what we can do and how we can use our, food that we're
Yeah, it's
growing.
one of the questions that I get the most is like, so What do
Yeah,
I do now? I have a million of cucumbers. What do I do? And they all came at once, and they're too big, so I'll, hopefully I'll be able to do more of that, share a bit of things that I have learned in professional kitchen world, also with new things that I'm learning because I'm constantly learning, and be able to inspire and show people how to use things because we don't want to put it in the compost. We want to try to use as much as we can for the things that we grow. So hopefully
that's
that
right.
would be, but that's definitely one of my goals. I'd love to be able to always eventually show what I'm doing with my harvest so I can inspire people to, even if you want to watch my video and do the same thing, just go pick up the same ingredients and do it along or something, watch it again. But it's
Yeah,
a good thing to be able to use and make something delicious with your own homegrown food because it tastes better when it's homegrown anyway. You already started with better ingredients, which
that's right.
ends up to better flavor at the end of the dish.
Yeah, everything always tastes better when you grow it yourself.
And
It's
yeah.
just it's
And it's more
amazing.
nutritious too, just like off the ground right away or off the vine. It's just like holds all those nutrients, so it's better for us anyway too. So all
Yeah.
good stuff.
It is all good stuff. Again, Mary, thank you so much for spending your time with us today to talk about your garden and your garden space there in the city. And now I wish you the best of luck with this new property and your new garden. I know I'll be keeping an eye on what you're doing through all of your videos, and I hope everybody else does as well too. Like I said, we got a link down below to Mary's Garden and Kitchen, and go over there, subscribe to her channel, and if you can, go to one of her more recent videos and go leave her a nice comment and let her know that you saw her here on the Let's Get Growing show, and follow along with all the great garden adventures that she'll have here in the coming seasons. Thanks
Thank you
again,
so
Mary.
much.
You're
Thank you. I
welcome.
appreciate it.
You
Bye.
betcha. We'll see you again soon. Hey gardeners, thanks for tuning in to our show today. We'll be right back at it here in just a moment. I just wanted to take a second here to highlight our regular videos and features here on the Urban Gardener channel. Our weekly garden journals, and our incredible featured visits.
The answer to this week's trivia question is B. The average first freeze occurs around September 15th in much of the northern plains, the Intermountain West, and the Rocky Mountain regions. Further south and in coastal areas, the first freeze may occur a little later in the season, October and even into November. Meanwhile, in extreme southern portions of Florida and west through Texas and California, the first freeze may not occur until late December and even January. Thanks for watching. Head over to Sarah's Seed Shop where you can find garden seeds at unbeatable prices. Enjoy the rest of the show and have a great day.
Right on, right on, right on. Did you get the question right? I actually got it right this week too, as well too. So I hope all of you did as well too. Thanks again to Sarah over at sarahseedshop.com for her contributions to our show through Sarah's Trivia. And again, hope you all go and check her out at sarahseedshop.com and get some of her seeds that she offers there in her shop. It's good to help support a young entrepreneur and help her grow as a business. And again, you're not going to beat the price of her seeds that she offers there, or the amount of seed that you get as well too. I think she's got the best deal you'll find anywhere. So definitely go and check out Sarah's Seed Shop at sarahseedshop.com. And again, thank you to Mary for joining with us here today. It was really great to talk with her. Like I said, I've been looking forward to talking with her and talking about her garden space in New York City. I've been following along with her this year, and it's just been really great to see her grow and where she's growing next as well too. So I hope you all go and check out her channel as well too there. All right. It's time to get moving along today. We've got a great first guest here today. But what I also want to mention too, again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that our next guest will be talking about doing a little bit of a giveaway here on the show. So if you can and you haven't already, just type in hashtag KOG for keep on growing. And we will pick out some winners here in just a little bit later on in the show. So definitely do that. Hashtag KOG, and we'll give out an email address here a little bit later for winners as well too. And you guys can get a hold of some of these great things that Mike's going to have to offer. So without further ado, let's get started with our featured guest today.
You never know when you might learn something, and that's what this is about for me. These are people that I admire. Please welcome my next guest.
All right. So for today, we are welcoming back to the show our good friend, Mike Van Duzee from Keep On Growin. Great to have you back with us, Mike. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, good to be here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you there. How you doing?
All right, pretty good. Because last time you said my audio was good, I went back and listened, and it sounded like.
I know. That's the hard thing sometimes when it comes down to doing the live shows and coming from different places and different microphones and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it can be a little bit this way or that way, but we've got you on. We got you good. And again, thank you so much for joining with us today.
Cool.
All right. And as I was mentioning, we might as well talk right at the beginning here too. I was mentioning to everybody here, type in hashtag KOG for keep on growing, and we'll give away some things. What are some of these things that you want to that we want to give away here a little bit later in the conversation?
Oh, I don't know if anybody wants. I've got some. I'm going to show y'all some peas in there. You can't really see them right now, but maybe. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's grown pea.
Oh, I love pea shoots.
Micro pea shoots. Those are like awesome. So
that's got to be one of my favorites when it comes to microgreens.
Yeah. Pea shoots, sunflowers. Who knows? Maybe I was thinking Mill Creek was still in the chat.
Yeah.
Recently they sent me a grow kit for mushroom.
Oh yeah.
And I grew a lion's mane.
Yeah.
And I've been having fun with that. And what do you call it? If anybody's interested in like growing mushrooms or whatever, I was thinking of giving away yes, there's somebody there. I was thinking of giving away an Etsy gift card for like $25 or something, and they could go get one of their I think that would cover one of the lion's mane grow kits and shipping and that with it.
Yeah. That would be great. Yeah, I know that that's one thing I've been noticing a lot more too throughout the gardening community as well is mushrooms. Mushrooms over the last year or two are getting a lot more and more popular with these mushroom kits and all of that.
Yeah, definitely. It's I grow a whole lot of microgreens and stuff. I'm doing stuff so that people can learn, how to get into it, how to have success really quick, and how to do it over and over. It takes a little while to become a seasoned gardener and learn how to, have good tomatoes and peppers and everything, year after year. But doing the microgreens, anybody can start, and like next week they can have something to eat.
Yes.
And so, so I was doing a lot of that. And the only thing with that is a lot of people say, well, I can't live off of lettuce, or I can't live off of a salad. And the one thing with mushrooms I was wanting to get into is because those come out, those are a little meatier. You get a bunch of vitamin D. There's other nutrients in there, but it's something that's a little more dense, kind of like bean sprouts. You get a little bit more to eat than just some microgreens and that. So, it's been really fun. It was my first time growing it.
Yeah, yeah. And again, too, one of the things I got my whole light setup that I work and utilize, come spring and grow throughout the growing season, all that. But during the winter time, that whole station is set up for all of my microgreens because for those us in colder climates and all of that, that's a good way to kind of supplement your food that you get throughout the winter time is by growing lots of microgreens.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I saw Mill Creek said they'll give away one as well too, so we can give away two of them. So
Yeah, that sounds
I
like
have
fun.
a lot of stuff to give away.
Yeah, yeah, and also too, you gave away on one of your things. I got one of these.
Oh, you've got one.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, these are really cool. These are something that you make, right? These are a kind of a water self-watering adapter, right?
Yeah, actually, that tray of microgreens right there,
Yeah,
I've got one in it. I don't have the bottle in it. I've been watering through the top of it, but before I had the peas in this growing, this whole thing was filled up with those little containers, and that was on like some of my last videos saying
yeah,
how to beat inflation and that.
right,
But
right.
yeah, it's
Awesome.
pretty cool. It's we've been doing this for years, and then listening to people. There you go. You have one ready.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying. I got them all started up. In fact, I was trying to get something growing, hopefully, before we had you on the show, but nobody could see it right now. But I have a bunch of radish greens that I've set up in here, and they're already sprouting and getting ready to take off and all of that. And again, we're just using this really cool adapter here that hooks onto like a regular water bottle or something like that as well. In fact, it also can put like a small lidded mason jars, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that one's a hybrid. You can use either or. Then I've
Yep.
got like little refillable ones. There's a couple of different ones, different iterations we've been through. So it's just listening to what people need, and like I made the first one was just for a mason jar, and then people were like, "Well, can you do it for a bottle? Can you do it for this? Can you?" So we came up with different things, but it's trying to help people and learn how to, like I said, once you do that, sometimes microgreens I would be growing when I first started, and I would do them in the big 10-20 trays.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I was at work or something, or I'd go out to the grocery store, and you forget to get out there and water it. And all of a sudden, like, a whole tray's gone with, how many seeds are in, a tray.
Exactly.
So I was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
burning through seeds, and I was just trying to figure out some way to, that you don't want to just leave it and like come back in a week or whatever. You need to still watch it. You watch it grow and everything, but it takes a little bit of the stress out of it.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. Yeah,
welcome in,
definitely.
Jackson.
You bet. Welcome to them there. And yeah, too, as well, I just using some of these little leca balls that we use in here,
Yep.
and they seem to be doing really great. Like I said, the radishes are looking like they're going to start growing up now. I can see lots of roots and everything growing in there, and the container just keeps them all nice and moist and all of that, so you don't have to worry about watering them. So really, it's just kind of get them in there, set the seeds in, and then just kind of let it go.
Right. Microgreens, basically, if it's comfortable enough for you, you can grow some microgreens. If it's like 28 degrees outside, you can't, it's not going to be something magic where you can put it out there and it just, grows. But if you've got a little space in your yard and your house, like that rack's just a 3-foot rack, you
Yeah.
can fit that in a bedroom or, a corner somewhere. And with that, we've only got the lights. I only have one 2-foot light there and one 2-foot light right there.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot. And then down here, I use that for germination. So, that usually stays darker. Or the bottom shelf, I actually had one of those, that big black container. I'd put bean sprouts in that, put it down there so I could grow a bunch of bean sprouts because you don't need light for bean sprouts.
Yeah.
So real
Very
minimal setup.
easy, very basic setup. What kind of lights maybe we're using there?
These I was using Barina, and they're hooked together. This has a little switch.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
they go on, they hook together. They're pretty cool because if I only want light up on the top, I just unplug them. They're daisy chained together.
Oh yeah, perfect.
And so it's two, and that came in like a set of 6, that I bought, and that was about $70. So you could have like 2 on each one, or you could have a bunch of these shelves going, for 60
Exactly.
bucks. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I haven't really used a whole lot of other lights. I don't know if you remember years ago, there was something called Hidden Harvest Grow Lights, and he
Right.
made his own, and he
Right.
actually contracted with a company to make it. And we're following each other before he even made any. So he sent me some. And when I first started out, I just had them because he gave them to me. It was free, and I used them and they worked good. So I never really tried any other lights. And he stopped making them after a while because he just couldn't compete with the price with all the cheap ones, that are coming out now.
Mhm.
So it was costing, more to get it made than, they were mass producing them. So he stopped making it. So I still have them, but I quit using them because every time somebody sees it, they ask for it.
Yeah.
And I hate telling people you can't get, and I haven't tried the other ones. So those lights were the first ones that I tried after that, and they worked well. I get people asking me to test their lights, like, every day, want to send me stuff, but I don't have time to be, testing and doing product reviews. And I just found that works. So, I'll stick with that until I need something else.
That's right. Find something that works and stick with it. I mean, for me, I still use 4-foot basic grow lights. In fact, we just switched out this last year to LED bulbs, for them, but they're just regular shop lights that we got 4-foot on a PVC kind of setup that I've got to hold the lights. And I've been using that thing for 10 years now. So again, we find something and it works, and then use it. And again, too, you don't need too much either, too, when it comes down to growing microgreens, or even just seed sprouting for, because like I said, when it comes springtime, we'll start all of our different things that we're growing, whether it's the peppers or tomatoes or the different eggplants and things like that. Our warm season crops all start early before they get them growing here indoors, and then we harden them off and bring them outdoors when the weather changes later in the spring. But it doesn't take too much light to really grow these things and grow them well.
No, it doesn't. In fact, that's just one little 2-foot light right there, right?
Yeah.
This is, here, I'll show you. This has water in it, so I probably won't be able to tilt it. That's peas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
Water everywhere.
Look at those roots. That's perfect.
Yeah. And that's just in here, sitting inside of here. And after those, I have them in here. They sprout in the dark. And then after they're sprouted and they're a couple inches high, I just hit them with the light. Get some water.
Perfect.
But those are the same speckle peas that I got right here. So if anybody wants to grow any of those, that's what we'll be giving away. You'll be able to do like several of those trays with this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, again, that's one of my favorites is pea shoots. But for me, I'm going to have to get a hold of some peas, some seed as well, too. Usually what I've done over the last couple of years is I just, I grow a bunch of peas out in the main garden, and, I'll collect as many as I need and can freeze up for myself and everything. And then I just let the plants go and let the seed mature. And then I collect all the seeds for the microgreens during the wintertime. But this last year, and I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to deal with it, but pea weevil made it into my garden this last year and has decimated all of my seed.
Yeah.
So again, there's always those sort of challenges in the garden, especially, you keep growing year after year. Something eventually is going to start getting to some of the things you're growing, and we'll have to figure out what to do with that this next season. Yeah, I gotta have my pea seed.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I could, I keep those going like all the time. Like those are like that, and at the same time, I've got like some more soaking, so that those can start growing, and you just keep them coming over and over again. And I don't grow too much to seed or anything, and don't save seed just because I'm trying to show people how to, keep the cycle going. Just go over and over and just have, a steady supply of food. But that's an easy way to get stuff sprouted. I actually took some of those out and did plant them. My wife has a couple planters outside, just to show people that you can take them, you can eat some, and then you can take it, transplant some. So real cool little system. We enjoy it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Big Will Dog was asking, can you do microgreens in cocoa coir, and then compost the coir after harvest?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the way 99% of everyone else does it. So it's if you go to my channel, you're going to see a bunch of stuff that nobody else does, and it's a little controversial sometimes in that, but I'm not trying to be the best. I'm just trying to figure out different ways so that everyone, because we're all different. I think I just put out a video this morning saying the same thing. You know, we're all different. Some people can afford a bunch of fancy equipment and some people can't. Some people have a big yard, some people don't. You know, some people have the time and energy, and some people physically just can't do a garden. So I just put all my energy into just trying to find out different ways that just about anyone can do it. I always keep my mom, who's passed away in that, but I keep her in mind. Like if I ever went and showed her something, said, "Hey, mom," you know, and if I had to show her hydroponics and say you have to check the pH and you have to add pH up and pH down, you have to check your nutrient level, she wouldn't do it. But if I would have took this over and said, "Hey, just set that on a shelf and keep the nutrients at a certain level and you're golden," you know, she did that. She had a couple planters, you know, when she was around. So I'm always trying to keep that in mind, but almost everybody grows in some kind of grow medium and cocoa coir. What I'm trying to do with this one's actually sand.
Oh, sand.
And yeah, and I've got a couple of my last videos that actually when these were set up, I had some with sand, some with the leca, the clay pebbles, and that's just trying to find things that you can use over and over, clean them out. But the clay pebbles, after a while, it gets a little difficult cleaning them because they're porous and things get in it. You have to like clean them out. I set mine out in the sun for like weeks, and it just bakes in the sun. You know, it's Florida, and you know, like you all over there, you're 100 degrees or whatever, right? Just out there baking. I have them on a dark table that's like 120, 140 degrees in the sun. But some people put bleach and hydrogen peroxide and things like that. And the sand, I've been finding out that you just put those in a big bucket, and the sand just drops right to the bottom. All the organic matter floats around. You just got to scoop it off and dump off the water and rinse it a couple times, and it cleans up real easy. And then I set that out in the sun, and it's ready to go again. So I'm seeing how many times I can use it over and over again without doing the compost, and you know, which is definitely a thing to do. But you know, like I said, some people have an apartment or, you know, and just a little balcony, and they don't have a compost pile and things. So I'm just trying to figure out different ways for people to keep on growing.
Yeah. And sand, I know I wouldn't have thought about sand at all, but that's a great idea as well too. And again, too, we don't need like compost or any other type of soil or anything really, because you know, our microgreens, these sort of things don't really need these nutrients, like if we're going to try to grow a full-blown plant, because we're only growing them so much. So we just need to get them to, you know, pop up, grow up so high, and then boom, we're harvesting them at that point in time. So we, you know, similar with the coir as well too, you know, that it's, you know, they're not going to be deriving any nutrients from that sort of thing. So you don't really need it. And with the sand and all of that as well too, is we can kind of have more of a, you know, a cleaner medium to use versus some things that you can, you know, like I'll get soil, you know, for like my other plants and all of that, and you'll get all of those little gnats and things like that as well that come out of the soil, and you can kind of avoid some of that as well by using those types of mediums, right?
Oh, definitely. So, you know, that's what we're shooting for. And because when people are just beginning, like you, bye, Wendy, everybody else. Yeah, you had cool guests and everything. And if anybody hadn't seen, let's plug for your last guest, Mary. You know, go check out her channel. I just found her a couple months ago, and I was watching because of the small urban garden, kind of like what you do, and that's pretty cool. But because she just kind of mentioned it, but if you actually go look at her channel, I mean, it was like a little alleyway, right, in New York, and when you're looking at it, there's like buildings, you know, on both sides, and this little strip of you know, garden, and they're growing there. So, you know, that's what, you know,
real city gardening for sure. You know,
Yeah,
when it comes
definitely.
down to it, when I came across her channel, I was like, "Oh, this is great stuff." And again, too, like, Wendy's channel too. Everybody should go and check out Wendy Fan's channel as well too. Again, one of those types of channels where, Wendy's using just this little space. She can barely put her arms out across in, when, going
Mhm.
alongside of her place that she lives there. And I just love people who can, be so creative in using these types of spaces, because I think that's something we should see more of and do more encouraging of too. Most of us live in cities. Most of us live in these kind of concentrated spaces, and to be able to find ways to grow food and to do things like that is just really, really something that we should be paying attention to and encouraging those types of channels.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I get excited when uh, I tell people not to, I don't have like guests or visitors or anything, but when people are like, I want to come to your farm, I'm like, I don't have a farm. Thanks,
Right?
Jay. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show people, how much you can grow that. It's not, I could go out there and just do like this and just grow a couple, film that, make a video, and do the YouTube thing. But
Yeah.
sometimes I like just pack it out because it's, we're eating, harvesting, keeping the cycle going, just showing the whole thing. And when
Hmm.
people think you've got like a big farm going on, and I'm like, it would take you 5 minutes to walk around,
Yeah.
you'd be bored, don't make a trip out for 5 minutes, so, and lots of times what you see is already gone, that we go
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
stuff so quick. When we shoot a video, the one that just went up a couple weeks ago, all that stuff's gone and we got more stuff going, it's different. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a quick way to grow and we just have fun. Yeah. And thanks, Jay, for what he said and just trying to find solutions for people. And, that's
Yeah.
just the whole thing that, drives my channel.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been following along with you for several years, even before I even started all of this sort of stuff. And that's the one thing I've always really enjoyed about what you do is, I mean, you are a very creative person. You got a creative mind, like you haven't even seen, not just in gardening, but in all aspects of what you do and everything. And I love what you do in these creative ways of finding ways that people can grow things. A lot of it through like kind of hydroponics, cracky type situations or modifications and things like that as well too. And it's just really great to see those sort of things, and then that helps people find those sort of things for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Helping people with that creative process.
Yeah.
Those
Well,
of us
thanks.
who aren't as creative.
Nah, it's just to me, it's just to keep from getting bored. And
Right.
I could just till up my backyard and plant a bunch of tomatoes, but how many, people are out there teaching that already? So I'm trying to figure out who's falling through the cracks and who else needs help. If you just want to know how to, plant a tomato or plant a blueberry bush and you need higher acidity and all the basics, I'm trying to figure out who's tried all that and who's failed at it. So mine's basically for the failed gardeners or the people that can't do it, can't physically do it. And so
Yeah.
it's rewarding. I really enjoy it. Buckle up, Buttercup. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, lots of great stuff. Lots of again, to inventive, creative ways, solutions to doing things. And like you said, even for people with limitations and all of that too, as well. Some of this stuff is just really simple things that people can do without too many troubles.
Yeah. When I get so many like DMs or emails and that from people that are like either elderly or have disabilities or like in a wheelchair. They're like, I thought my gardening days were over and now I'm growing microgreens, over in the corner of my house
Yeah.
and even starting like cracky stuff because you don't need to do the big buckets like we do. You can do like the little small
Yeah.
containers and start to grow food. So that's just our mission to get everybody, even if everybody doesn't grow their own food, just everybody having the knowledge so that
Mhm.
if the need comes and you need to do some of it, we don't ever lose that knowledge, because we're all like in the internet and everything's at our fingertips. We have an encyclopedia inside of our pockets
Yeah.
nowadays. Our phone, we can like look anything up and people are just like, forgetting how to do things. They just say, well, I'll figure it out when the time comes. But
Yeah.
it's better it's rewarding to at least have that knowledge. It's empowering.
It really is. And again, last week, I was mentioning earlier in the show, last week we had Dr. Jeff on our show to talk about lifestyle and gardening medicine and all of that as well. And there are many different ways that we don't think of how the different types of health benefits that we can get from growing things, and even if it is like what you're showing there too, like in the background there, or like what I have with my light station, creating, and again, you might not have the outdoor space, you might not have all this sort of stuff, but even growing something indoors in your home gives us a connection to plants and nature and things, and also motivates us a little bit more to be in just a little bit more active in doing things, and caring for these plants can create that motivation as well too. That can be very healthy for us in the long run.
That is, I mean, just sitting around, it's we overlook a lot of stuff too, and just watching, like, you have this little tiny seed, and you see the little sprout and you watch it. And that's the one thing with the hydroponics. Sometimes we plant stuff in the ground and you bury it, and you'll see the little sprout, and then you see a plant, but you don't really see like the roots in that till you dig it up. And with the hydroponics, you're sitting there watching it sprout, you're watching the roots go down, and you're watching it, in the whole life cycle. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's just, again too, that's then becomes that mental motivation, that mental side of everything as well, that when we are caring for something and we are taking something from seed and whether we're growing microgreens or growing a bigger plant or something like that, or even if it's just house plants, you know what I mean, that gives us this kind of mental connection again with nature that also helps us out in that way as well too. Just such, again, a lot of ways we don't think of that plants and gardens can help us with these just amazing health benefits.
Yeah, cool. And you are creative. Your earth buckets and that, you need to make more videos on that and put those out. People
yeah. I'm working on it. I got a plan, hopefully, that I'll be able to start getting back to doing video making real soon. One of the things I've kind of shared, a couple of different times before is I am not, my creativity might be limited in growing and all that stuff. I'm not technologically is knowledgeable about a lot of stuff. So when I first started doing my channel and creating videos, I found this basic, simple editor that I was using to edit all my videos and everything. And it was fun. And I did learn some more creative ways of being able to do things with the videos and all that sort of stuff. But I've been using that editor for years and years. And just this last year, I had an issue with the editor, and went to their support for the people who have that old version of that editor, and they're like, yeah, we don't even support that anymore. We can't even help you fix your problem anymore. That thing is so old. So right. My challenge now, this been years, I've been slowly trying to work on figuring out the newer versions of this editor so that I can start getting back to making videos again and everything back like I used to do, because I kind of really miss putting together those videos. And I know we need to do more earth buckets for sure, because I think those are really one of the best type of containers that anybody can use in a small space garden, a small space urban garden. Self-watering systems, sort of like the little thing that you've created here as well too, to use on a more smaller level, are just so helpful in helping us grow things. Because again too, like you said about the one tray you had, we could not be paying attention or busy doing something else, and then next thing you know, we've lost something because we weren't watering it the way it should be. And these earth buckets are just really helpful in that sort of way, into making sure that we're not losing some plants out there, especially if you live in hotter regions as well too.
Right. And even if it doesn't get to the point where it's just you've lost it, just having the constant supply, of nutrients and water, I think the plants get more used to it. It's kind of like us. We don't really like change.
Yeah.
And if you're letting it get like real dry and then soaking it in real dry, it just keeps like an even, keel like throughout the whole cycle, so that they, don't have to stress out one way or the other. And that's what the earth buckets kind of do too. It's just a constant supply whenever they need it.
Yeah, and if I need to step away for a couple of days, go somewhere or do something or something like that, all I gotta do is fill up that reservoir, and that thing's set for a while. Even in the hottest of my summer, I can get a few days out of those things, and as it's a little bit cooler during the more, shoulder seasons, then it'll last even longer. I can take a couple of weeks away, that sort of thing with those. They're so helpful. Nothing like having a container that works for you. And not only that, you can make these things. And one of the things I love about what you do, and we've kind of touched on this already, is finding solutions and things for growing things that are on a budget. Because these wicking buckets, these earth buckets, can be made for less than $1 a piece. If you're, and go find a container that's got 5 gallons of space, 5 gallons of root space for less than $1. You're gonna have to go find maybe an estate sale, where people are like just trying to get rid of things and handing things out or something like that, to find some of these big containers or something like that, to, at some sort of price like that. And again, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
And sometimes people giving away for somebody I know asked, they never thought about asking. They had a friend that was a caterer.
Yeah.
And they were using like gravy and all kinds of stuff, and they gave them like 100 buckets for free. I was saying, you've got like a tower garden, set up, your whole backyard, for basically for free.
For next to nothing. And again, too, like you mentioned, there are tons of places out there that are restaurants, bakeries. You can go to your supermarkets, sandwich shops, all these sort of places that are using food grade buckets. Remember, you're looking for food grade buckets. Don't get anything that they were utilizing for their washing machine or anything like that. You want to get the food grade buckets, but you can find places that just will hand these to you, will give them away, because all they're doing is tossing them out. They mean nothing to most of these places. And again, can be such a benefit for your gardening space.
Yeah. Buckle Up Buttercup said she fixed her TV by just ordering a power cord. That's pretty cool. Yeah. We just fix our stuff. My 3D printer, one of them just went down.
Yeah.
And, and I got orders and that to go out and that. So this is what YouTube is like, fantastic. So get on here and start looking up, about the hot end and what could go wrong. And then we've got Amazon, right? Yeah. And then I go and look what part I need to order it. Like the next morning, it's on my doorstep. So we're living through like cool times to do all of this stuff. Like if I decide I want to do something, I go on Amazon and look up, these lights. You can get it if you're a Prime member. Like in a couple of days, or trays, or even seeds. If you don't want to go to seed companies, some are on Amazon. And that before we had to, like we're out hunting for buckets and stuff. We had to go looking for stuff. Special hydroponics, it wasn't around everywhere. So we were driving like 30, 40 miles, to look for some basic stuff. And now, we just order it, like the next day it's on your doorstep. So we're living through cool times, and that's why we can experiment a little more and try different things and everything. Before, I don't think I'd be doing the 3D printing, if I didn't have, stuff so readily available.
Yeah. And again, too, like you mentioned, it's just one of those things that's really been one of the biggest benefits of the whole YouTube thing, for many, many years, is, people who have the knowledge about these sort of things that would seem difficult for us to understand. You can find videos on how to do anything almost. If I got to do a simple repair on my car, I'm not a good mechanic or anything like that, but I can find specific videos to my car and that part specifically on how to put that and take care of that and fix that. And I've done things that I never thought I'd be able to do just because of YouTube. And it's just really amazing.
That's crazy. Back in the old days, we ran to the library or the part shop and asked them to borrow one of their books, or you had to buy a book, for that certain car. And I remember
the
going to the library,
Chilton manuals.
Right, looking through stuff and trying to, and it wasn't the exact hearing you're, trying to do it, but you can go on YouTube and look up just about anything. So, I look up, about putting worms in the garden, and I see a picture of like Enoch with handfuls of worms or something. And
yeah.
So
and then learn how to put together a worm garden and grow your own vermicompost. In fact, that's one of my favorite things I've done over this last year was getting those worm farms started and everything, and working on expanding that out and all of that to produce my own vermicompost and creating my own worm teas, which are just great. And again, too, we're talking about doing things on a budget. I mean, how better of a way to do things on a budget than have some of these very inexpensive containers, find some good seed, get some things started in your garden. And then all you got to really feed it is some of these worm teas that you can, feed right into your soil or foliar feed these plants. And you don't have to get all these different types of fertilizers and all these different things and all of that. And you've made that free right in your own home.
Yep. Yeah, I was trying permaculture for a while too. It's really interesting. And you got some interesting guests. You're gonna have fun tomorrow with your birthday with Kang and all that. But then you got Mark back and
oh yeah, looking forward to that. Nate and Mark having those guys together for a conversation this next week. That's gonna be really fun. It was really great to have Mark on. He was originally when I thought of doing this show, I put a list together of all the people first that I knew and thought would be great to be on the show and all of that. Like our good friend Wendy Fan, who was in here earlier, was my very first guest for the show. So we had all that list together, but then I had another list of here are the dream guests. These are the guests I would love to have on the show if I could get them ever on the show. And Mark was right at the top of that list because I've been following him since he was a very small channel. In fact, his channel was about the size of mine when I first started following him, and to see him grow and where he is today doing everything, and then to also have him participate with our show is just so great. Such a pleasure.
Yeah. Nate too. I started watching him, and that's what I started doing, all that natural stuff and the fermented plant juice. And I've got 10 gallons of urine sitting out there that was sitting there for a year fermenting. So, because of Nate, but I don't put much of that on my channel because my viewers kind of rebelled against it. They're like, I was like, I'm going to try permaculture. And they're like, look, I've been watching you for years. If I want to watch permaculture, I'll go watch James Pigioni or Charles Dowding. I'm not going to watch you. I'm like,
yes,
I still do it. I have fun in that, but
you gotta pop them some things here and there in there and all of that. But when you've got something and you got, again too, so with the kind of success you have with the, the folks following you and all of that, you kind of have to stick with the sort of things that they're watching and following along for.
Yeah. So I love
don't need everybody rebelling.
Yeah. They'll leave in a heartbeat or whatever. You lose, it's once you start getting bigger, it's just part of the whole game. And it's fun if they're not finding any value in what you do. They don't have to stick around. They're like, oh, I'm going to go. I'm like, all right, if you ever want to come back, I'll be here. It's not like I quit or whatever, but we just have fun.
That's right. Yeah. Lots and lots of great stuff too. Again, I encourage everybody to check out what you've got growing on there and everything. I do want to mention again too, as we'll get started here in just a couple more minutes here and giving away a few things that Mike has to offer here for a giveaway. I do want to let everybody know to jump into the comment section right there. And all you got to type in is hashtag KOG. For Keep On Growing, hashtag KOG. So if you're just joining us or you haven't put that in the chat box there, definitely put the KOG in there, and then we'll get started here in a few minutes and give away a few things here. I think Mike says he's got some pea seeds there. They've got a mushroom kit as well to give away. Maybe a set of these sort of things as well too.
I've got some. I got the printer back up and going, and I think I'm caught up. I think I packed up this morning. I'm basically caught up on my orders, so I can shoot a couple more of those out.
Yeah, if anybody didn't see as well too, I'll put this back up here and show everybody. I just got one of those. It's one of these adapters that you got right here. It hooks right up to a water bottle, and I just got this nice little container here. And I'm using leca balls, but we discussed that maybe sand would probably be a really good alternative as well to use, that Mike's experimenting with as well too. So it just sits right in there. And in here I've actually got some radish seeds that are popping up and getting ready to grow and all of that. So I'm sure here by this next week I'll have nice radish microgreens growing right out of these right out of this container here. So yeah, really
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be cool.
Really
Wouldn't it be
cool.
cool if like almost like restaurants, if you went in restaurants and they just had stuff growing,
Yeah.
you know, and whatever you order, they're like just hard, you know, that you walk in, there could be like a shelf or a wall with, you know, all the stuff they're growing that could be easy like that where it turns over fast. I think that'd be cool. You walk in and they like come out and cut off radish, you know, some microgreens
Yeah.
and stuff, you know, and use it. So
That's
I don't
the
know.
way to
Maybe
go.
we got to talk to some restaurants and get them to set something up like that.
Yeah, for sure. Our good friend Mark Boucher Colbert, who co-hosts our book club with me and does our In the Garden segment on our Sunday show, he actually works up on a rooftop of a
cool.
building in Portland, and so it's not really. I mean, the public can go up. They do a public walk around so people can check it out and all of that as well too. But it's he talks a lot about how fun it is for the chefs to be able to go right up there and just pluck and cut things up right there to take right into the kitchen and grow and to cook with, you know, for the things that they're offering their patrons there at their restaurant. It'd be cool to see.
Who knows?
It'd be really
Might
cool
be.
to see things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, back in the day, you know, it was like if you're doing soil gardening, it would be kind of tough to be running a restaurant and doing a garden and tilling and tending the soil and all of that. But if you can just put something in a tray and throw some nutrients in there and, you know, it's ready in 3 or 4 days or 7 days. And it's just like doing prep in a kitchen. That's kind of what we do is, you know, we'll harvest some. And then if we need a couple more trays, you know, I don't do like my whole garden at one time. You know, I go out and I, like you just have that one tray.
Right.
You know, we might do 3 or 4 trays at night and say in a couple of days, we're going to need some more. So we set those up and a couple of days later, we might do a couple more. Restaurants could do the same thing. Cause when we worked in restaurants, somebody always had a prep list they had to do.
Yep.
Break out the stuff. So
yeah, I think that would be a great thing too. Again, too, it gives people a visual of you know, their food and the things that are growing and offered there in the restaurant, just right out in the open. I think that would be a really awesome idea.
Yeah, cool. I need to talk to Mary too. That'd be cool if I might do a little cooking with her. I got a Blackstone griddle out there. Tell her we'll live stream, and if she's like cooking, we could live stream, like, you know, have 2 people cooking, you know, pick a common ingredient and cook different things.
That would be really fun.
Might
You
be a
guys
cool little
should
show.
definitely do that. Rick was mentioning Marty's Garden is a good growing and worms channel in Australia too. Yeah, if you want to learn about some worms, check out Marty's Garden too. He's been a guest on the show as well. I'll have to have him back again soon here as well. Definitely. Right on, right on.
It's got a lot of cool stuff going on. Yeah, let's give something away.
Yeah, let's do this. If everybody had a chance yet to put in the hashtag KOG again here, drop that hashtag in here, and we're going to draw a couple of drawings for a couple of items here as well too. So KOG in the chat there, and then let me work this up here as well. Let's see here. Let's add this in there. We've got our giveaway tool here. And what I'm going to do is start collecting our comments there. I wonder why. I wonder how. I know I saw more than that. So let's see here. Let's get, if you already did try putting in hashtag KOG, why don't you go ahead and do it again real quick as well. Hashtag KOG.
Yeah. If not, if there's only 4, we can afford to just give everyone one gift.
Right. It wouldn't be very much. I know I saw a lot more different entries than that too. So I'm just wondering maybe some folks have left the live stream as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, there you go. There goes. Yeah. That's it. Sometimes if you do like capital letters or, you know, or have another word, if you say hello and hashtag KOG, it won't take that either. So it's just got to be that hashtag KOG just by itself with nothing else.
Right on. Let's see here. All right. So there we go. We're getting a couple more in here real quick. There we go. KOG, get everybody in here. I know we got 25, 26 people in here. So let's get some entries in for this giveaway here.
Yeah, because
KOG.
if people came in after the first couple minutes, then it might not know about that.
Yeah, yeah,
But if
definitely.
what y'all are, I'm going to give away a whole bunch of speckled peas. And Mill Creek is in the chat. I was going to give away one of their mushroom kits for Lion's Mane, and they said they'd give away one too. So I think what
Yeah.
we'll do is, instead of gift certificate, since I know Mill Creek,
Yeah,
what do you call it? I'll just order through them. Or
yeah,
I'll send them the money and they can just have the address and they can ship directly to whoever wins.
yeah. That would be great.
And then a couple of those adapters, we'll give away a couple of those too.
All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and let's see here. What are we going to give away first? What do you think we should give away first?
You can pick here. Let's do peas.
Let's do some peas for our first drawing here. So let's go ahead and draw a winner.
Bowtie, what's up? Bowtie Life in the Garden.
Yeah. All right, Big Will Dog in the soil for our first winner here for some pea seeds and there. Awesome. And again, too, what I'm going to do is I'll put this up here real quick. This will be an email here for everybody at keepongrowin1gmail.com. So Big Will Dog, make sure you send an email real quick. Let him know your channel name there and that you won those pea seeds, and then he'll get those sent out to you, and then you could grow some of those delicious pea shoots. I'm telling you, if you haven't had pea shoots, and for anyone else who maybe even those who haven't even won even for this giveaway, get out and get some pea shoots and try growing those. I mean, for one, they're very easy to grow for a microgreen, and they're just delicious. I mean, I'm telling you, they're one of my favorite things to.
They actually do taste like peas.
Yeah, they're just delicious, sweet, delicious microgreens for sure. Great way to get started in growing microgreens.
And my seat's all wet.
Got it dripping all over your seat there.
Yeah.
Right on. So we got Big Will Dog, our first winner today. Right on. Let's see here. Let's go to, and again, if you're just joining with us as well too, let me make sure here to put in hashtag KOG. If you haven't already, drop in hashtag KOG so you can get into our drawing here. And then let's go ahead and draw for another item here. Our next winner. Let's let that spin out.
All right, this would be for a mushroom kit.
For a mushroom kit. There we go. Oh, right on.
Jay.
Wait, did it? Yep, there we go. Yep,
Stop.
Jay. How about that? Awesome. Lucky winner for our first mushroom kit there. Excellent. And again, too, send an email. Let Mike know there at keepongrowin1@gmail.com there for one of those mushroom kits.
Yeah, this is Small World. I saw Jay and Mill Creek were actually talking. They're exchanging emails, so everybody knows everybody anyway. So I'll just get with Tracy and them and figure out how I get the money to them to pay for that.
Excellent.
I'll get out to you, Jay.
It's
pretty good.
Another entry in there as well too. That's awesome. Again, hashtag KOG. If you're just joining with us right now, got a couple more things we'll be giving away here real quick. Let's see here. What should we do next? How about one of those adapters?
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a pair of them.
Do a pair of them?
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and draw for a pair of the adapters here. So let's go ahead and see who we got for a winner this time. All right, Vly Mama, VLY Mama, winner for a pair of our microgreen adapters here from Keep On Growin. Again, send an email out to Mike there at keepongrowin1@gmail.com. And just give them your screen name and let them know that you won this pair of adapters there as well. Right on, right on.
Cool.
This is so much fun, Mike. I'm glad you thought of this idea. This is great.
No, we're giving away some stuff on our channel. I have fun with that. Whenever I get caught up with my orders and print a couple extra, so it's always a lot of fun. Mill Creek said that they'll cover that. Mill Creek, did you mean you want us to give away one more too?
Yeah.
She said give away another mushy. So they're going to cover the two, and then since they're going to cover the other mushroom, then I'll do another little like sample pack of microgreens. I got arugula, pak choy, and speckled peas in there too.
Oh, that sounds great.
If y'all want, we don't have to give.
Yeah. Let's give away that. Let's give that one away here real quick, and then we'll do another of the mushroom ones.
Mushroom. All right. So that's enough to do several. Like you see the little 5x5 trays that I do. I do them in small portions. That's enough to do several of them. The peas is enough to do one of the 5x5 trays. So that's like a little sample pack to get you going, get you started.
All right.
Arugula is like nice and spicy.
Yeah, and I see a few more people jumping in as well too there. Good thing, getting in last minute. Hashtag KOG for Keep On Growing. Hashtag KOG. And we'll go ahead and draw out another winner for these microgreens.
All right.
All right, let's see here. Who do we got this time around? Adam. All right. Adam. Winner for our microgreen selection there as well too. Awesome, Adam. Thanks for jumping in there as well too. And
is that your neighbor?
Yeah, Adam lives right down the road from me, so it's great. That's awesome. I was a winner last week of a nice gift of seeds that he gave me, so that's awesome. He's a winner.
Cool. We're all just spreading the seeds around.
Spreading the love around. I love it. I love it. Excellent. So thank you there as well. And right. So let's, as you were saying, got another the mushroom growing kit. Tell us just a little bit more about that mushroom kit before we get moving on. And
cool. Yeah. If Tracy Mill Creek wants to expand on any of it, but I'm a beginner. Yeah. I don't know too much about growing mushrooms. I just mentioned it in one of my streams, and they sent me some. It's really easy. They take the grain spawn, and everything's done for you. It's inside of a sterilized bag. It's sealed up, and when it gets to you, they wait until it's colonized. So if you're trying it at home, you might like mess up. That's the important part is sterilizing stuff and getting the mushroom to actually start to grow. And they sent it to you, and all I had to do was take it and cut a slot in this bag.
Oh, wow.
And you just kind of watch the temperature. Like we're close to 100 over here. So I had a rough time like the first couple of weeks. So if you're in other parts of the United States where it's like cooler, you have no problem, growing these. It was just setting it up. If you're out in the desert and it's real arid, you might have to watch the humidity in that. But we grew lion's mane, and I've never had that before. And I can't just go out, and just buy it everywhere.
Right.
So that was cool. To me, I've always been hearing about this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I could just grow my own.
Yeah. And again, too, like I was saying, it's been a lot more popular too, again, through the gardening community. I've been able to see more and more channels doing that. In fact, actually, Masilla Delana at the Learn to Grow channel, she just started a whole new channel just based on growing mushrooms. So we'll be having her on the show here pretty soon in the coming weeks. And again, probably talk a lot more about this here. So again, hashtag KOG. And for our winners, send an email with your screen name and what you won to keepongrowin1@gmail.com. So let's go ahead and draw for another winner of one of those mushroom kits. All right. Buckle up, Buttercup. Right on. Excellent. Excellent. That's great. New viewer too. Perfect.
And Ty, I just saw you out there too. He's from my channel. I want to say hey. And hey to everybody if I didn't get to say hey to you yet. I've seen lots of you popping in and out of the
Thank
chat
you
there.
all so much from the Keep On Growing community for coming and joining with us here. And just really great to have you all here. I hope you guys click that subscribe button and follow along with what we got growing on here on our Let's Get Growing show. Again, we're here every Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we've always got great guests each and every week, just like Mike here from Keeping On Growing, and lots of great gardening conversations. So yeah, for all of you who are new here or just joining with us today, definitely keep coming around and checking out what we've got growing on here. All right. Do we have anything else that we wanted to do at all, or did we run through everything?
I think that's it. But buckle up, Buttercup, and Jay. Jay's already getting with Mill Creek. I don't know if Mill Creek, you want to put your email there. Buckle up, Buttercup wants to contact them, or if you contact me, I'll get you in contact with them. But it could be just like cutting out the middleman if you just go over there and check out their channel and see what they got. But yeah, they got a little Etsy shop, and it, like I said, it's pretty cool. You can just order it, comes ready to go. All you have to do is cut a little slot in it, and I'm still messing around with it because it's a living organism, right? And it's in this grain. And so even after I grew, I actually, one of those bags I grew, it's called a flush.
Yeah.
So it'll grow your mushroom. And it's a little smaller bag. I didn't grow a huge one. Like I said, I was dealing a lot with real high temperatures in that, but it grew 4 times. We harvested it, cut it off. I soaked the bag a little overnight, let it set, and then I grew another one. And I did that like 4 times. And the last one, I threw some aspen chips out in the yard and set it out in the yard, and it grew a huge one on it, which I was like really happy about. But I don't know, Tracy, I also put some of it in a bucket. I saw somebody growing it with a bucket. She told me to get micropore tape to put over the holes. And I just went out there this morning. I cut a slot inside of the tape because I pulled the top open and I saw it was like, going wild in there. And it started growing. If you don't have the right conditions, it grows looking like coral or grows kind of funky. And inside the bucket, I saw it started to grow like that. So I cut the tape. So that's where it goes looking for light and oxygen. And I went out there this morning. I've got another one popping out of that. So that was pretty cool. So have fun with that. If you've never done it before, it's just like, something totally different. And it's, if you don't have a yard and you maybe can't do all the tilling and weeding and watering and composting and all of that, you can still grow food.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot we can do, a lot we can grow that we don't think about normally, even in spaces that, we wouldn't normally think of as growing, or even like, as we've talked about as well too, like you got right behind you, right in your own house, if you don't have space and all of that stuff. So there's always a solution to being able to find things that we can grow for ourselves. And again, too, that's one of the things I really, really dig about what you do with your channel is that, making those things more accessible, or letting your creativity out there that helps people understand also as well to how these sort of things are as easily accessible to them.
Well, appreciate it. And thank you everybody in the chat too. I can't answer everyone. I see all the love and everything, and people, saying stuff in the chat too. So really appreciate everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much to everybody who's been joining with us today. And again, too, if you are here and you haven't checked out Mike's channel and all that, we do have links down below in our description and everything too. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about too is you live down in Florida, man. Florida just got beat up just recently, man. How did everything go for you throughout all of these hurricanes and all of that as well?
We were lucky. It's stressful, just like a monster's coming your way, right?
Yeah.
And all these people are, believe it or not, last week the river down in Tampa just crested.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's ever since the
Yeah.
hurricane went through, it's been rising and rising. So inland, where people have never had floods before, it's gotten up to like 18 or 20 feet. And so even though they made it through the hurricane, all the water is going down there and it keeps rising. So it's like, so we were lucky. We just got some winds, it's going around cleaning up, cutting
Yeah.
branches. Thankfully, nothing fell on anything, but of course, there's no garden out there because the winds were, whipping around so bad. But that's why this
Yeah.
was cool. During the
Yeah.
hurricane, any little container we have, we could pick up, bring inside, set down, and then when it's past, pick it up, take it back outside. You can't, if it's in the ground, it's toast. So all our plants that were out there that got whipped around in the wind, but then we still got a little bit, and that's why we start over. And we've already had one whole crop since then. And this is
Mhm.
like the second one we're working on, and we got a third one planted already.
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's another great reason for those who live in really, storm ravaged type areas and all of that is to have a great indoor setup, with things growing, microgreens and different stuff like that as well, too. Because if you do, you do have a garden out there and it's just wiped out all of a sudden, you do have a backup then, and you're still able to continue to grow for yourself as well. And yeah, also see that again, we have a bow tie in there. I know he's down in that area too. I hope everything went well for him, and he didn't lose as much as well either. But again, like you said, it's just something to see. And I've got a lot of friends there in Florida and all of that, including yourself and Dave and all of them as well. That when you see that stuff coming and it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like you said, it's a monster heading your way. With just bent on destruction. So there's not much you can do but hope and pray that people are going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of people. That's what, if people, like I said, just keep everybody in your thoughts, and we might be looking into doing something and helping. There's lots of kids out there, their families have like lost everything, and, Christmas is right around the corner, and, maybe, try to figure out something, and everybody's donating things. There were people, the first hurricane went up here and Helena went all through the Carolinas and everything.
Yeah.
And people started loading up supplies and everything here and started heading up there. And then like the next week, all of a sudden it was here, and they had head south. So yeah, it's just stuff where, we're kind of used to it, but it's never just like a tornado goes through, somewhere in the Midwest. You never know, what's going to happen. And it's just a little bit of anxiety, everybody's out there buying supplies, getting ready. And if you've never been, through one when it's going over and everything's shaking, it's kind of a scary thing.
Yeah. I'm always, one of those people who's really fascinated with storms and all of that. I've always, thought, how cool would it be to kind of check these sort of things out, but I don't think so. I don't think at that level, you know what I mean? At that level, that's just scary. And it's just scary to think about, especially when you're in its path and all of that too, as well. But the one thing, as you're talking about there too, is, if there's anything good that comes out of a storm like that, is bringing community together, bringing the even larger community of people together to be able to help each other and that sort of thing. And that's the one of the things that's really great to see after all of these problems, is you got to get in there, and people got to get helping people, get fixed up and reestablished again. And that's some of the greatest stories that we're hearing out of those situations that happen with those two hurricanes, and really in most any type of storm situations that we see, whether it's tornadoes and other areas or fires here on the West Coast and all of that, is the community that comes together to, no matter what our backgrounds and thoughts on things are, we all seem to find a way to come together and help each other when the time is needed.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Well, right on, Mike. It's just great to have you here today. Thank you again so much for spending your time with us here on our Saturday show and giving away some fun things. That was really fun to do. I hope everybody really enjoys those giveaways. And like I said, I gave the email there too, that you can get a hold of him, and then he'll help make sure that we get those prizes out to you, and I hope you guys all enjoy those. In fact, you'll have to come back and whoever won these and join us in the chat and let us know about how those things are growing for you as well too, because I'm really interested in hearing about those mushrooms and all of that. I've got to get one of those things eventually myself too and give them a try.
Yeah.
I'm not
Thank
much
you
of a
to
mushroom eater, but I think it would just be so much fun just to grow them anyways. I mean, there's tons of things I grow I don't necessarily eat and I give away to other people and all that sort of stuff. But I think the mushrooms would just be really, really fun.
No, it definitely is. And that's when, and thanks to Mill Creek too for giving away a couple of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mill Creek, for that as well too. That's just really awesome. It was, and again, too, really great to have you here, Mike, and just really looking forward to talking with you again here soon.
Yeah, definitely. Nice talking. Keep on growing.
Keep on growing. And again, too, everybody, if you haven't yet already, links are down below. Go and check out Mike and go and leave him a comment somewhere and let him know you saw him here on the Let's Get Growing show. And hopefully we'll get Mike back on the show again here later on and talk all more about all these just creative, fun ways that we can grow food for ourselves. Thanks again, Mike.
Yep, definitely. Thank you.
All right. There we go, man. What another just really, really great show here on the Let's Get Growing show. Just so awesome. We just had some really wonderful guests with us here today. And if you didn't get a chance to check out earlier in the show, we were joined by Mary from Mary's Garden and Kitchen. That was a really fun conversation with her to talk about all of her gardening experience in New York City. And then she's now moving on to another space and also talking about she's a chef. That's just really awesome. So again, you'll want to follow along, check out the link down below and go and check her channel out if you haven't yet already. Go subscribe to her. And like I mentioned with Mike there as well too, go and leave her a comment somewhere on one of her videos or something and let her know you saw her here on the Let's Get Growing show. Just really awesome. And again too, like I mentioned, we are here every Saturday and Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time for all of you on the East Coast there. And we're here every week with all sorts of really great guests. And we'll be back again, like I said, tomorrow for our Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing show. And for our Sunday edition of the Let's Get Growing show, we will have joining with us our good friend Kang Star from the Kang Star channel on YouTube. And he grows out of Texas. And we'll also be joined with our other good friend, Christopher Bransdahl from his channel, Mountain MTN Garden on YouTube and or the Christopher Bransdahl channel. And he joins us all the way from Norway, all the way up in Norway. I'm sure things are getting mighty cold for him already as we're waiting for things to cool down here in Oregon where I live. But I'm sure things are really cooling for him. But we'll have a really great conversation with those two good friends of ours we've been doing live streams with for years. Tomorrow's my birthday, so we'll get together with my good friends and have a great conversation about what we've got growing on this year and what we got coming up as well too. So again, you'll want to join us for that conversation with Kang Star and Christopher Bransdahl for tomorrow's Sunday edition of the show. And as I mentioned as well too, last Sunday on the show, it was our third Sunday of the month. And we had our monthly gardening book club. You don't want to miss out on our monthly gardening book club because it's unlike any other book club. We get to review some of these really great gardening books and have the authors live with us on the show to talk about these books. And last week, we had joining with us for our book, Ashley Thomas, the Mocha Gardener, in her book, How to Become a Gardener. This is just a really wonderful book. It's a great book for all of those of you who are just learning about or just getting started in gardening. And it's really awesome too, as well, for all of us who've been gardening for many, many years. So great book. You want to get yourself a copy of that book, or even if you don't have a copy of it, you can come and check out our show from last week and check out that really great conversation we had with Ashley. It was just really awesome. And again, for our next month's gardening book club, which I believe is November 17th, the third Sunday of November, we are going to be reviewing Mitch McCulloch's new book. I met Mitch down at the National Heirloom Exposition a couple of weeks ago, and his book was just released, The Seed Hunter. So this is going to be a really great book. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be hopefully showing up here any day now. As I said, it's just a new book. So again, I might have to not be such a hurry to talk with some of these gardeners in their new books, and maybe wait a little bit, get their books out for a little bit so that people can get an opportunity to check them out and all of that. But you can go and order and check out The Seed Hunter by Mitch McCulloch, and then join with us this next November 17th, third Sunday of November, for that monthly garden book club. And also too, if you're new to the channel and everything, like I said, we're here every Saturday and Sunday with really awesome, great guests talking about all sorts of things in gardening from all around the world and all of that as well. But last Saturday, we had another gentleman that I met down at the National Heirloom Exposition. We had Dr. Jeffrey Pierce on our show last week to talk about gardening and lifestyle medicine. Dr. Pierce delivers babies for most of his medical career and all of that, but he got into several years ago into gardening and lifestyle medicine, and he gave such a wonderful talk down at the National Heirloom Exposition. I just had to have him on the show, and we just had a great discussion last week all about again, and we touched on this just a little bit too with Mike as well. There are just so many things about gardening that we don't really, we might not really think about when it comes to how healthy it is for us. It's not just healthy for us in this great, wonderful, delicious food we get to grow in our gardens, but it's also mentally healthy for us as well too, because that connection with our plants and growing these gardens and all of that can really just sustain great mental health too. But also, gardens help get us motivated. It helps get us out there in the garden to do things and to work in our garden spaces. And anybody who knows, who's been in a garden space and working, throughout the day and all of that, you can definitely feel it afterwards in your body, because it can be really helpful for us physically as well too. So there's just so many great health benefits out of gardening. It was just really wonderful to talk to Dr. Jeffrey Pierce on last Saturday's show. And we also got to meet, for our Are You Following Me segment, Yasmin El Gabri from MCR Urban Gardener from Manchester, United Kingdom. And this was just a really wonderful conversation too, similar to talking to Mary earlier and talking about, growing in alleyway urban spaces and all of that. Yaz got involved with gardening. Her first gardening experiences was joining together with her local community to clean out their alleyway. They have a service alleyway. Most of Manchester's filled with all these different service alleyways. And she got out there with the community and got started growing and gardening and all of that. Now she's hooked, just like all of us gardeners get when we get started gardening, is we just really get hooked in to the whole gardening experience. And we start realizing all of these great benefits that we talked with Jeffrey about. And then from there, we just can't quit it. It's just something that just, we're going to be gardening for the rest of our lives, when it comes down to it. And that was a really wonderful conversation. So you'll definitely want to go and check out last week's show. And also too, coming up this Thursday coming up, we're going to do a special live stream here on the show. It's a special live stream that I've been doing for several years now. We are going to be hanging out together to do a special Halloween hangout live stream. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch and have some discussion around the original 1960 classic, The Little Shop of Horrors. I love The Little Shop of Horrors. One of my favorite shows, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite theater musical productions. And the original 1960 classic is a public domain movie, which means that we're able to play that right here on our show. So we'll watch the original 1960s classic, and then we'll have a discussion beforehand. We'll have some discussion afterwards. And after that, we'll also play a theatrical version put on by a San Jose theater company that does a really great job with this, with the theater production, the musical version of The Little Shop of Horrors. And we'll just have a bunch of fun around that as well, too. If you want, I am going to also give everybody at the beginning of the live stream a link to our live stream. So there'll be a live stream link that you guys can click on, and you can join with us live, basically almost like the call-in shows on the radio and all of that. But you'll be able to click on in, and you can come and join with us here on video and come be a part of our discussion and all of that as well. Maybe show your Halloween costumes. If you've got some great Halloween costumes, you've got some kids in costumes and all of that as well. That would be really fun as well to have all of you join in and do that. Plus, what you can also do too is you can email me any pictures. Maybe you got some pictures of your kids in costumes and all of that, and you can't join in on the live stream or anything as well too. I'd love to see maybe some pictures of you and your kids, maybe in your costumes. Hey, and if you can get them out in the garden too, maybe snaps some photos or whatever, send those over to me at letsgetgrowing@mail.com. And that's just mail.com, not gmail.com, but mail.com. letsgetgrowing@mail.com. And you can send me some pictures and photos, and we'll also show those during the live stream as well too, so you can be a part of our Halloween hangout special live stream featuring the 1960 classic, The Little Shop of Horror. And if you haven't seen this old original movie, it is really fun. It's fantastic. It's an old black and white from 1960, Roger Corman's original. And it's actually one of the very first movies that Jack Nicholson was in. So if you want to see Jack Nicholson when he was really young, a real young actor, you'll want to come check out this version of the movie as well too. So really great for that. And I'll kind of forward promote. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing exactly for this next Saturday, but next Sunday is going to be a special Sunday edition as well too. We are going to have a round table where we're inviting back onto the show. We're so fortunate and lucky to have Mark Valencia from the channel Self-Sufficient Me. He's going to be joining with us, and he'll be joining me and Nate Murray from Garden Like a Viking. Nate's such a great guest. He's been on the show a couple of times before. And so I thought it'd be really great to get Nate and Mark together so that we could have a fun gardening roundtable discussion about all sorts of things gardening. Great opportunity for you guys to come and join us, ask some questions, and learn just a little bit more about Mark and Nate as well too. We're gonna have a fun discussion here on that show as well too. So we got lots and lots of things growing on here on the Let's Get Growing show. So really glad that all of you came here to join with us today on the show. And if you are here still and you haven't already, definitely click that like button, hit the thumbs up, as well as subscribe to this channel, and hit that bell notification as well too. You can be notified of all of our upcoming live streams and videos and all of that as well. Share with all of your friends too. Let all of your friends know. We're really trying to build an audience here. We've got a great, wonderful show. You're not going to, and here's the thing, there's lots of great, awesome channels out there who are doing awesome live streams. We love all of the things that they do, and we love to have all of them on as guests here. You get to meet so many of them here on our show, but you won't find a live stream that's like the Let's Get Growing show anywhere on YouTube and anywhere in the gardening community. We have such wonderful, awesome guests that spend their time with us each and every Saturday and Sunday. So you're definitely not going to want to miss out on some of our future shows. And also definitely follow our links down in the description to some of our guests that are featured here on today's show, and other places as well too that you can catch up with us here on the Urban Gardener channel and the Let's Get Growing show. And one last promo real quick before we go. And one way to continue the conversation or show me some pictures of your garden, because I love to see what you all have growing on too. Come and join with us on our Urban Gardener community, the Let's Get Growing group on Facebook. There's a link down below in the description. Come and join with us. Come become a member of our Let's Get Growing group and help continue the conversation here from our show as well too. What a great, wonderful show today. It was so awesome to see all of you. I really, really want to thank you all so much for being here. And let's see here again. Let's see. Thanks again, Mill Creek, for being here with us. And let's see, Nana as well too. I love this here, trying to hand down garden tradition to my grandkids. Yes, and yes, indeed. I don't know if anybody noticed. I did. Let's see. I'll get this right. I got a little picture here. I changed my picture. I got my very first grandkid to this last summer. She's now going to be 4 months old here in a couple of days. And just wonderful, wonderful to be able to do that and pass and hand down all of our great fun gardening knowledge here to all of our kids and all of that as well too. So again, thank you all so much here. Good to see you, Wickershire, as well, join with us, and everybody else. You know, keep on growing with Mike. Thank you so much, Mike, for being a guest today. Again, just really awesome to see all of you, and I hope to see all of you on our next show. So thank you so much for joining with me, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.